Chapter 2 Echoes in Clay. The clay had rested overnight, covered in damp leaves to keep it soft. Now, in the golden hush of morning, Sula pressed her thumbs into it, folding and turning the mass with practiced care. Her hands were coated in gray, her tunic streaked with fingerprints. Across from her, Luma moved with slower, surer motions, shaping a wide bowl that would carry water from the spring to the cooking fire. "Let your fingers listen," Luma murmured, not looking up. "The clay will tell you when it's ready." Sula bit the inside of her cheek and nodded. She had heard those words so many times. They had started to echo inside her. Still, she tried. Her small lump of clay was meant to become a cup. Her third attempt. The last one had dried too fast and cracked in the fire. The one before that had slumped sideways like a tired turtle. She cupped the edges gently, smoothing the sides with a damp reed. The curve was uneven. She adjusted, pressed again. Luma glanced over. "Too thick at the rim," she said. "Your hands are stronger now. Use them to shape, not squeeze." Sula didn't speak. She scraped the rim carefully with a sliver of a shell, making it thinner. The edge trembled, but it held. She could feel her gray aunt watching, even when Luma turned her attention back to her own piece. The fire crackled beside them, the warmth working its way up Sula's arms. Outside, she could hear the call of the others, the soft splash of footsteps near the spring, the clatter of shells being sorted, the laughter of two boys chasing a dragonfly through the tall grass. Sula kept her eyes on the clay. "This one's for practice," she said quietly, as if reminding herself. Luma nodded, still shaping her bowl. "Yes, but practice remembers. Every handprint leaves something behind." Sula looked down at the cup again. The sides were smooth now, rising like the walls of a tiny home. She imagined it holding water, or the black drink from Luma's stories, or maybe something else, something not yet known. She glanced at the pottery shard sitting on the woven mat nearby. Luma had cleaned it and placed it where they could both see it, as if it were watching too. Sula didn't know what the old design had meant. Not really, but she knew it felt important. She turned the cup gently, her fingertip brushing the side. For just a moment, her hand hovered in a curve, as if sketching a swirl in the air. She stopped herself. Not yet. Midday rest and storytelling. The sun climbed high, and the shadows beneath the trees grew thin. After hours of shaping and smoothing, Luma finally leaned back and dusted her hands off on her wrap. "That's enough for now," she said, rising with a stretch. "Come, let the pots rest while we do the same." Sula followed her to a shady spot near the cook fire, where a large flat stone held bowls of dried berries, roasted fish, and palm-wrapped yams. She took her share without speaking, too tired to talk, but not too tired to listen. Luma's stories often came in the quiet spaces, between bites, between chores, between the wind sighs. Sure enough, after a few mouthfuls, Luma's eyes drifted towards the trees, and her voice dropped into that steady rhythm that meant a story was coming. "There was a time," she began, "before our mothers' mothers, When the people gathered in the moonlight to drink the black drink from cups made of lightning shells, Sula looked up. "The lightning whelk?" she asked. Luma nodded. "A rare shell. Beautiful. It opens the opposite way from all the others. Some say it holds the energy of the storms. Others say it spins in the same direction as spirits travel when they rise from the body." Sula's hand crept towards the shard beside her. Her fingers rested lightly on its curved edge. Luma continued, her gaze far away. When the people needed clarity, when they sought truth or vision or guidance, they would boil the leaves of the yaupan and make the black drink. Only the chosen would sip it, and only from the sacred shells. They drank to open the path between the worlds. She paused, letting the fire snap once between them. "Some believed that when you drank from the shell," she said, "your thoughts would begin to spiral outward towards the ancestors, or inward to your spirit. That's why they carved the shell into cups, not just for the drink, but to carry the journey with them." Sula felt the pattern echo in her mind, the swirl of water in the spring, the spiral of the bird in the sky, the clay she had nearly traced with her finger that morning. "Why did they stop?" she asked softly. Luma didn't answer right away. She pulled a strip of dried fish from the bowl and chewed slowly. "Some stories fade," she said at last. "Some are hidden on purpose. Others are waiting." She reached over and gently touched the pottery shard in Sula's lap. "This one waited a long time," she murmured. They sat in silence after that, the sun warm on their shoulders, the breeze carrying the scent of clay and ash and pine needles. Sula closed her eyes and tried to imagine what it would be like to drink the black drink beneath the stars, the swirl pressed against her lips, her spirit rising with the steam. She didn't know what she would find, but she wanted to follow the path. Sula's private curiosity. That evening, while Luma traded stories and bowls with a neighboring family near the fire circle, Sula slipped away. The sun had begun to fall, casting long amber streaks across the paths between the shelters. She carried her small, half-finished cup in both hands, careful not to smudge the smooth edges she had worked so hard to form. The clay was firm, but not yet hardened, cool to the touch like the belly of a spring. She didn't go far. Just beyond the clearing, beneath the canopy of palmettos, there was a patch of dry, sandy earth where the children sometimes played, and no one would think to look for her. The stillness filled the space. The hum of insects wrapped the silence like a soft blanket. Sula sat cross-legged, cradling the cup in her lap. Luma's story still lingered in her ears. The black drink, the lightning whelk, the swirl that marked a journey between this world and the one beyond. She reached down and traced a spiral into the sand with the tip of a stick. Then another. Each one began with a center, circling slowly outward, wide and loose. She drew a dozen before pausing. Then she looked at the cup in her hands. It was plain, just smooth clay with a slightly uneven lip. It was the best she had made so far, but it still looked like every other cup. Useful, yes, but silent. Sula dipped her finger in a little gourd of water she had brought and touched it gently to the side of the cup. Then, with the stick she used in the sand, she slowly etched a soft, curving line into the damp surface. A spiral. Not deep, not bold. Just enough to catch the light when it dried. She watched it, heart thumping. It wasn't like Luma's designs. Neat lines, repeated shapes, always symmetrical. This was something different, something that came from somewhere else, somewhere older. The clay felt alive beneath her hands, as if it had been waiting for this mark. Sula set the cup beside her and whispered, "I don't know what you're supposed to be, but I think you remember." A breeze stirred the trees, sending a hush through the leaves above her. She looked up, half expecting to see a bird spiraling through the sky again. Nothing, just the pale pink wash of dusk. Still, her heart was steady now. The cup was no longer just for practice. It was the beginning of something. The ritual dance practice. The next afternoon, the air was thick with warmth and buzzing insects as Sula joined the other youth in the shaded clearing near the river's bend. A circle had been marked in the dirt with charred wood and twisted reeds, its outer edge ringed with smoother stones. Elder Noma, the keeper of song and ritual movement, stood in the center. Her hair was coiled in loops at the crown of her head, and her voice carried with the authority of river stone. "Again," she said, motioning with her arms. From the beginning, Sula took her place in the circle with the others. 10 of them in all, just older than she was. Feet bare, hands open, back straight. As the rhythm began, claps and humming layered over a low beat struck on a hollowed log. The dancers began to move. The formation started simple. 1 step forward, 2 to the side. Then came the turns. The inward spiral, the outward expansion, always circling, always returning. Spiral in, spiral out. Step, turn, step, turn. Sula's body followed the rhythm, but her mind wandered. Each turn tugged something inside of her, something she hadn't noticed before. She watched the dust spin beneath her feet, and she saw the way her shadow curled around her as she moved. The spiral wasn't just in the shells. It was in their bodies, their ceremonies, their stories. It had always been there, quietly guiding. Elder Noma clapped once, sharp and final, bringing Sula back into the moment. They stopped. She paced the circle slowly, eyes scanning each face. "The dance teaches," she said. "It is the breath of the people. You enter it, you follow it, and you emerge changed." Her gaze lingered on Sula for a breath longer than the others, or so she thought. Then Noma nodded and turned away. As the group scattered to drink from gourds and stretch sore legs, Sula sat in the grass and drew her knees to her chest. Her cup waited back at the shelter, hidden where no one could look at it too closely, yet her body still carried the motion of the dance. The swirl stamped into her muscles like memory. She didn't know what the coming of age ceremony would ask of her. Not yet, but she was beginning to understand what she wanted to offer. I hope you enjoyed this chapter of Memory in the Clay. Tune in next week to hear what comes next for Sula. To purchase the printed book or explore the digital edition and teacher resources, check the description below. Until next time, may your hands remember what your heart already knows.